Have you ever heard a story so strange, so chilling, that it sticks with you long after you've heard it? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic and terrifying legends in American history, the Mothman of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. This isn't just a story about a monster. It's a tale of UFOs, mysterious men in black, and a catastrophic disaster that left an entire town asking if they were warned or if they were cursed. It all began in the fall of 1966. For 13 months, the small town of Point Pleasant was gripped by a sense of creeping dread, all focused on a single, impossible creature. Witnesses, and there were over 100 of them, gave remarkably consistent descriptions. This was no ordinary bird. They saw a humanoid figure, standing around 7 feet tall. Its most unforgettable feature: two massive, glowing red eyes, which witnesses said were set in its chest or shoulders, not on a distinct head. People described these eyes as hypnotic, like giant bicycle reflectors, staring out from the darkness. And then there were the wings, huge, leathery, bat-like wings with a span of 10 to 15 feet. But here's where it gets even weirder. The creature rarely seemed to flap them. Instead, it would rise straight up into the air, like a helicopter, and then glide effortlessly, chasing cars at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. Imagine driving down a dark country road and seeing that thing in your rearview mirror, keeping pace with you, its red eyes locked on yours. Most of the sightings happened in one specific location, the McClintock Wildlife Management Area, known to locals as the TNT area. This place was already spooky enough. It was the site of abandoned munitions bunkers from World War II concrete igloos scattered throughout a dense, dark forest. It was the perfect lair for a monster, and the people of Point Pleasant believed this is where the Mothman made its home. The story that truly ignited the legend took place on the night of November 15, 1966. Two young couples, the Scarberrys and the Millettes, were driving near the TNT area when they saw it. Standing by the side of the road was the 7-foot-tall creature with its burning red eyes. They slammed on the gas, filled with a primal terror. But it wasn't over. As they sped away, the creature took to the air, flying right alongside their car, its massive wingspan casting a shadow over them. It followed them all the way to the town limits, never once taking its glowing eyes off them. They didn't go home. They drove straight to the sheriff's office. The deputy who met them, Millard Halstead, said later he'd known these kids their whole lives. They weren't pranksters. And when he saw the sheer, unadulterated terror in their eyes, he knew they had seen something real. The next day, the headline in the local paper read, "Couples see man-sized bird, creature ... something." The legend of the Mothman was born. But this story is much bigger than just a cryptid sighting. What happened in Point Pleasant is what paranormal investigators call a window event, a period of high strangeness where all sorts of unexplained phenomena converge on one location. And boy, did it converge. During the same 13 months that the Mothman was seen, the skies above Point Pleasant were filled with strange lights. UFO sightings became almost commonplace. Residents reported seeing everything from glowing orbs to structured craft moving in bizarre patterns. It was as if the town had become a magnet for the unknown. Then came the men in black. No, not the funny Will Smith version. These were sinister figures. Witnesses and journalists who tried to investigate the Mothman story reported being visited by strange men in pristine black suits, driving brand-new old-model Cadillacs. They were described as having unnaturally pale or tan skin, stiff movements, and an odd, robotic way of speaking. They would ask detailed questions, but would also issue vague threats, warning people to stop talking about what they had seen. They seemed to know things they shouldn't, creating an atmosphere of paranoia and fear. And if that wasn't strange enough, there was Indrid Cold, also known as the Grinning Man. Several people reported encounters with this being, a tall, bizarrely smiling humanoid who allegedly communicated telepathically. One man, Woody Derenberger, claimed Indrid Cold landed his ship, which he called a spacecraft, and told him not to be afraid. He became a key figure in this whole saga of high strangeness, adding another layer of mystery to what was happening in West Virginia. a giant winged creature, UFOs, men in black, a telepathic grinning man. Point Pleasant wasn't just experiencing a monster hunt. It was at the epicenter of a full-blown paranormal storm. But the strangest and most tragic part was yet to come. For 13 months, the Mothman was a local terror, a boogeyman in the woods. But on December 15, 1967, everything changed. During the evening rush hour, the Silver Bridge, a major artery connecting Point Pleasant, West Virginia, to Gallipolis, Ohio, groaned, shuddered, and then collapsed into the icy waters of the Ohio River. Cars and trucks plunged into the river. 46 people lost their lives in the disaster. It was a national tragedy and a devastating blow to the small community. And in the immediate aftermath of the collapse, something strange happened. The Mothman sightings stopped. Just like that. The creature that had haunted the town for over a year simply vanished. This is where the Mothman legend splits into two powerful theories. Was the Mothman a harbinger of doom, a supernatural omen trying to warn the people of Point Pleasant about the impending disaster? Some witnesses even claimed to have seen the creature on or near the bridge just before it fell. Or was it something more malevolent? Was the Mothman, and all the associated high strangeness, part of a curse or a negative energy that ultimately culminated in the bridge's collapse? The debate has raged for decades and has transformed the Mothman from a simple monster into a complex symbol of warning and disaster. Of course, there are more down-to-earth explanations. Skeptics have put forward a few plausible theories. The most popular one is misidentification of a sandhill crane. These are enormous birds. They can stand nearly as tall as a person, have a 7-foot wingspan, and, crucially, have bright red patches of flesh around their eyes. For someone unfamiliar with the bird, seeing one startled by their headlights on a dark night could be a terrifying experience. A sandhill crane that had strayed far from its normal migration path could easily be mistaken for a monster. Another theory points to the barred owl. It's a large owl with a huge wingspan and a face that can look eerily humanoid in the dark. The glowing red eyes could easily be explained by eye shine, the reflection of car headlights from the tapetum lucidum in an animal's eyes, which can appear bright red depending on the angle of the light. The idea of it chasing a car could be a trick of perspective, with the owl flying in the same direction for a short time. But these explanations, as logical as they are, don't account for everything. They don't explain the sheer size and speed reported by so many witnesses. They don't explain the UFOs, the men in black, or the strange case of Indrid Cold. The sandhill crane theory does unexplain why a bird would suddenly appear for 13 months and then vanish precisely when the bridge collapsed. The mystery of the Mothman is so enduring because the simple explanations just do uncover the sheer weirdness of it all. Decades later, the legacy of the Mothman is stronger than ever. The investigative journalist John Keel, who was on the ground in Point Pleasant during the events, wrote the definitive book on the subject, The Mothman Prophecies. He didn't see the Mothman as a physical creature, but as a supernatural manifestation, part of a larger, mysterious phenomenon. His book was later turned into a very creepy 2002 movie starring Richard Gere, which introduced the legend to a whole new generation. And what about Point Pleasant today? The town has fully embraced its legendary monster. Far from hiding from its strange history, they celebrate it. In the center of town, you can find a striking, 12-foot-tall, metallic statue of the Mothman. There's a Mothman museum, filled with police reports, witness accounts, and props from the movie. And every year, the town hosts the Mothman Festival, an event that draws thousands of cryptid enthusiasts, paranormal investigators, and curious tourists from all over the world. So what was the Mothman? A misidentified bird? A collective delusion born from fear? A genuine supernatural being trying to warn people of a coming tragedy? Or was it something else entirely, something from beyond our understanding? The truth is, we may never know. And that's what makes the story of the Mothman so powerful. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes, just beyond the glow of our street lights, in the dark woods and shadowed back roads, there are mysteries that defy all explanation. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. If you enjoyed this journey into the strange and unexplained, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Let me know in the comments what you believe was the Mothman, a warning, a curse, or something else. See you next time.